During the journey, almost I was bankrupt 4 to 5 times. The first bankruptcy, close to bankruptcy, was scary. But once when you got through that, the second one or third one was not scary. The fourth one was not even alarming. So you get used to it. And you only look at how to rectify things and go ahead. And the first fear was high. So the option was, if I would have failed, I would have gone for some employment, that too not a glorified employment. So that was the only option. See, if you are taking bath in cold water, the first dabba is the one that is just giving cold shivers. The second and third doesn't give it. So the first jerk gave nerves, but the second and third didn't bother us.
From selling ice cream on pushcarts in the 1970s to chairing the largest private sector dairy company in India, it's true that R.G. Chandramogan has seen the entire spectrum of running a business over 50 years now. His company, Hatsun Agro, is over a 7,000 crore plus company, not valuation, mind you, that's revenue, that has pioneered a unique model of directly procuring milk from over 4 lakh farmers and selling branded consumer-facing products. I'm pretty sure you've enjoyed an ice cream or two from any of the Hatson brands during the sweltering Indian summer. Arun Ice Creams and Ibaco come to mind, and if you're in the south, you couldn't have missed them. In Hatson, Mr. Chandramogan and his team have managed to create a business that's built to last, using the first principles of frugality, resilience, and of course, compounding, which is our theme for today. Interestingly, though, when asked about being a billionaire, he had famously replied, "All this is national wealth. I don't consider myself to be a billionaire. In fact, the only asset I have is a house." Such is the humility of the man himself. It's an honor today, sir, to have you on board for this episode of the Blume podcast, Mr. Chandramogan.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I think people would love to hear what it was to be an entrepreneur in the 70s. We don't have too many of those born then and thriving today. So your childhood and young adult life from the book, Mr. Damodaran put out, and which I had the opportunity to read earlier this year. So the story has been told for the first time. So not everyone might have read it, but I got a glimpse of it. So I picked up some of those. There's an anecdote where, you had to skip your pre-university exams. Your seed capital was all of 13,000 rupees after you sold off a family property. Would love to hear from that point, in whatever way you want to characterize it for young entrepreneurs. What gave you that courage to start Hatson? Why did it feel like it was going to work? And any specific learnings that you remember which were instrumental in those early years of Hatson?
See, I hail from a village called Tirthangal, near Shivkasi. All along in my life, in my childhood, I haven't seen senior executive.
Okay.
The executive ladder was not known to us. So only people whom we know were small traders or successful business people or whatever it is.
That's right.
So my exposure was limited to that extent. So I also felt that probably I can be an entrepreneur one day.
Okay.
That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, our village was completely a barren, landed portion.
Okay.
So two people brought prosperity to those places. They brought matches. Their name was Ayanadar and Shanmuganadar. They brought prosperity to that land. They were like demigods to those people.
Understood.
Because they gave employment to thousands of people around Shivkasi. So that was a childhood aspiration that one day we can also evaluate.
Lovely. So it was the motivation to create an impact for the people that you grew up.
That's number one. Number two, actually, my father was running a small business here. It was failing. I was a class rank holder. But the circumstances indicated that for long he will not continue in business.
Okay.
On those days, in my village, the people join their father for an activity.
Correct.
Cutting the education, that was very common. So I also indicated that I'll join. But he was adamant that I have to go to US, study there. That was only an ambition. He didn't know where to study in US. I didn't know what to study in US.
Correct.
So it was too early days.
Yeah.
And one thing I was so sure, that he can't find money to sponsor my trip to US.
Ticket also, forget about the education.
So that was the irony of it.
The US has lost our gains, sir. So it's all good.
His ambition was to send me to US and probably study there and stay there.
Yeah.
It didn't work. So I lost my interest in education. Deliberately, I didn't study that well in PUC, but except one subject, I passed in all the subjects. I failed. On those days, we have to write all exams together. So my father insisted that you have to write the exam again because his ambition of sending me to US has to work for him.
Sure.
I was so frustrated.
Yeah.
Next time, I never studied anything.
Yeah.
I went to the exam hall. It was blank.
Oh.
First question paper was chemistry.
Hmm.
Same chemistry, I was scored distinction on the first time. But this time, paper looked to me as if the language was Latin. So I had no interest. By 2:15, I got up. Told the examiner, I'm quitting the hall. I'm totally unprepared.
Okay.
The examiner had some sympathy.
Okay.
Man said, don't do it. And I'll help you to pass this exam.
Okay.
And only when you pass the exam, you will get a government job, get 1,500 rupees salary and settle well for your future. I said, any day, government job is not my option.
Okay.
Maybe I don't like the smell of the government buildings. I'm not going to be a part of a government employee.
Okay.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
I'm quitting the hall anyway. Even if you're going to help me in this exam, next exam, I'm equally prepared. It's not going to help. Then he said, statutory demands that you should be here till 2:30, half an hour, because I can admit anybody inside.
Yeah.
So you can leave the hall only after 2:35.
Okay.
Think of your future. You are putting your future in a peril. Then 2:35, I got up, gave the paper and walked out. I saw 2 cinemas. Not that I was so enjoying cutting the exam. Bloody hell, probably I was so frustrated.
Yeah.
I was in turmoil.
Yeah.
I know that probably I am going against the wishes of my father and family.
Yeah.
To just escape, I went to 2 cinemas, spent the whole night roaming around and then went back to my home. That's the beginning. Now, I wanted to do something on my own. Seeing the early entrepreneurs of Shivkasi.
Understood. They were your role models then. Yeah.
That was my aspiration. Then after a year, after the cutting of exam, I was sent to a timber shop for training in Vidupuram.
Okay.
I worked there for a year. And probably I was an outstanding salesman. Some policy issues, there was a conflict of interest from me to the boss. Then I quit the job. So my family felt that probably they have got a useless fellow. He goes to the exam, he cuts the exam. When 1 lakh guys are writing the exam, this guy is the only guy who is going out of the exam. And then we get a job. He resigns the job without communicating to us and comes back. So there was friction. Then finally, 13,000 rupees was given by selling an ancestral property. Then I started. So the ice cream company was, with that budget, I could start only that. The beggars are not choosers. I didn't have money. There was no venture capitalist on those days.
Correct.
Or for that matter, I had any great idea of how to raise the money.
Yeah.
Something went on. Even the banks used to be very skeptical about funding the
ice cream
initial
yeah.
people and all that.
Yeah.
So this is the way we started.
That's how it started. No, amazing. Amazing. Congratulations again on a well-deserved biography that Mr. Damodaran has penned, which recently won the Gaja Capital Award as well. The citation says, it's an inspiration for every entrepreneur to see how you've constantly tried, failed, learned, pivoted, then scaled, right? And that's the biggest fear entrepreneurs have, right? In terms of what if it doesn't work? And it turns out that more people, get defeated by the circumstances. They might have either taken venture capital, they can't get more capital, they haven't figured out how to turn profitable. How has that shaped you as a person? How does it make you get better and better? And any near misses there? Could this company have been dead a few times in that journey?
See, if you ask me, I didn't have alternative options. I didn't have the education.
Yeah.
Or I didn't have option to even think that I can juggle from here to there.
There's no plan B, no failure plan.
So no plan B. So I have to stick with whatever the irony I am fitted with.
Yeah.
So I am back to the wall. There was no way that I can just look at alternatives which are rosy, number one. During the journey, almost I was bankrupt 4 to 5 times. The first bankruptcy, close to bankruptcy, was scary. But once when you got through that,
You
The
learned.
second one or third one was not scary. The fourth one was not even alarming. So you get used to it. And you only look at how to rectify things and go ahead. And the first fear was high.
Yeah.
So the option was, if I would have failed, I would have gone for some employment, that too not a glorified employment.
Correct.
So that was the only option.
Hmm.
See, if you are taking bath in cold water, the first dabba is the one that is just giving cold shivers.
Correct.
The second and third doesn't give it. So the first jerk gave nerves, but the second and third didn't bother us much.
You overcome them. Great anecdotes and great lessons. So the two personality-driven things, and a lot has been said about you in that book, but I've heard of this even before, being a Chennai boy. But how come you didn't choose to give the company a name that attached the family name or your personal name? I think it runs deep, but how did you have that vision, and why did you choose to call it Hatson? Where did the name come from?
No, Hatson came much later.
Okay.
It's not the day one.
Day one job.
Day one, the name of the company was Chandramogan company.
Oh, it was.
It was in my name.
Yeah.
In 1986 only, we coined the name Hatson.
Got it. And any motivations to do that? Partly because you wanted the brand to stay?
No, actually, probably we were only into ice cream business at that time.
Correct.
1993, 94 only we came into dairy.
Until Arun Ice Cream was around.
Actually, we were trying to coin a name suitable for a brand like ice cream.
Understood.
We were trying to say that probably this can be a protection against the sun.
The hot sun, yeah.
So Hatson was the real name we looked at.
Hat that protects
the Hatson probably looked little way different, then we made it as Hatson.
Got it. Our researchers dug up an interview way back in 2007 where he said, you don't do too many interviews because the brand and the product should speak about the company, not the personalities behind it. Do you think it still holds true? And would you have done things differently in becoming the brand persona for the values that you have and for the products that you sell?
Actually, see, my feeling is, if you promote yourself along with the brands, you are promoting a dual brand. The risk of the dual brand is, once when the demise happens to the founder, he is going to put a lot of pressure on the successor. People may believe that he is the only guy who can just make it or not. The organization should run on autopilot system.
That's right.
With proper systems and proper management. Getting glorified as a maybe founder recognition is okay, but still always on the limelight trying to get things means you are actually putting the company at a risk for the successor to do things in a proper manner.
Understood.
So we don't want to have that type of pressure for.
Though I would say so that this is a mindset of someone who already knows you're going to build a generational company, which will actually move a few generations and get professionally managed, which is what I think the startup ecosystem is struggling to build towards. Like, how do I build a 2-generation or a 2-decade or a 3-decade company? Would you say that's true?
See, everybody says there is a goal and I want to reach the goal.
Yeah.
After reaching the goal, the complacency sets in.
Yeah.
So I don't have a goal. My journey is infinity. Why should I bother about that goal in the next 1 year, 2 years, and then after the goal, probably I want to relax and I want to enjoy my life.
Yeah.
See, I enjoy doing my job.
Yeah.
And for me, the journey is important, not the destination.
Yeah.
So that is the way we take it. Again, if you look at companies, we have built 4 successful brands. Arun Ice Cream is today one of the top 2-3 brands in the country.
That's right.
Arogya Milk is supposed to be the largest private corporate
milk brand.
Hatsun Curd is one of the top 2 brands in the country.
Okay.
Ibaco is one among the 2 top premium brands of ice cream. Normally, people build one brand. Or even 3-4 generations, the same brand continues. The second or third brand doesn't emerge.
Yeah.
The creativity is stuck at that one brand. And they try to duplicate what they have done to the first brand to the second brand. If you are going from first brand to second brand, you have to do a lot of unlearning to build a second brand. Say, for example, Arun Ice Cream sales starts by 11 o'clock in the morning.
Correct.
But the peak sales is between 7 to 10 in the night.
That's right.
Whether it is summer or not.
Yeah.
7 to 10 is the time of consumption.
Yeah.
The milk sales starts by 4 to 5 in the morning and over by 6:30.
That's correct. Done. Collections are done.
So if I apply the same formula for Arun Ice Cream to Arogya Milk, I am not going anywhere. So I have to do unlearning. So comparatively, we have built 4 brands.
All the very different businesses.
And all the brands are market leaders in its own segment.
Fantastic. I mean, it's explained in that large 7,000 crore plus revenue. So none of us are doubting that. So I'm going to take you a little through the Hatson journey itself. Maybe, again, a lot of literature covers the success of when Hatson moved out of ice creams into, not moved out, rather started the milk business as well. But then I think there were 3-4 challenges, and maybe you can break your answer up into this, sir. One is, it was not the country that we had today. So you needed cold chain infrastructure to put together milk collection. Of course, there was an Amul which had, started enabling this, but no private players had the courage to go and maybe replicate this at scale. And 3, there was an incumbent in Tamil Nadu, like most co-ops, which was Arvind, right? So suddenly in the early 90s, what prompted you, other than backward integration from your ice cream business, to say that I'm ready to take on all of these folks and win, all these challenges and win?
Ice cream business, we were having a factory in Chennai. And we wanted to expand the factory. The next season was applying pressure because the sales was growing. Literally, if you look at it, we built our Arun ice cream market from the potential market. And we never worked on getting a market share from the existing market. Existing market was available only in Chennai.
Okay.
Chennai was having Das Prakash as the state number 1 brand.
That's right.
Quality was India's number 1 brand. Joy was India's number 2 brand. All the people were prominently available here. And we were relatively unknown.
Yeah.
No brand. And we didn't have the muscles to give freezers. So we didn't have money. So literally what we have done is, we tried to go around and build a market in outstations. We are the pioneers in going to the outstation market for ice cream. We built a market. And on those days, we were giving parlors. And the ice cream distribution is a very tough challenge on those days because there were no coach.
That's correct.
So what we used to do is, we used to pack our ice cream with dry ice and put it on trains, the regular trains.
Okay.
And the people who is the agent at their town, we will book it and he has to take delivery and take it to his outlet. So this, we were doing it for years.
Oh, wow.
And we started our journey in 81, 82, let's say. Before 86, when we came back to Chennai, we were market leaders of Tamil Nadu. Without the 3 players knowing that we have already overtaken. So we created a market that was only a potential market, which was non-existent, we created. Coming back to outstation is a major chunk of business. Outstation business also, apart from parlors, we have later diverted to points and other things. And today we have the heavy network. Now, the idea of 1991 was to start an ice cream factory, which will have a lesser logistical distance. So we chose Salem.
Okay.
Salem, logically, Salem by itself is a major town of Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
Coimbatore, Tirupur, Trichy, Madurai.
Correct.
All the places are within 3-4 hours journey.
That's right. Very central.
Then we started going through van delivery from the nearby point, so reducing logistics. Milk prices were low because it is supported by villages. And our land prices were low.
Yeah.
Our wages were comparatively less than Tamil Nadu. So we had a lot of advantages to produce ice cream at Salem. Then we started. After starting ice cream, liberalization was introduced for milk. Earlier, it was reserved for co-ops.
Understood.
And once when it was served, we never started milk. We started a milkshake powder. We wanted to market a consumer product. The milkshake powder, it didn't click.
Yes.
It was a failure.
Yeah.
See, market, you go with a perception.
That's right. You have to take
a shot. The consumer has got a different perception.
Yes.
Not that you study the consumer 100% of the times and probably you are successful. Make a mistake, you correct it and probably go with a different version or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So in this case, what happened? Our product was well accepted. Everybody liked it. The biggest problem was, we were telling the milkshake powder, you put some milkshake powder, put some ice water, put some ice cubes, churn it in the mixie, you will get a fresh milkshake and you can drink. Now, housewife was concerned about putting ice in the mixie. She felt mixie's blades will get
it will damage the blades.
Damaged. See, this is something that we didn't anticipate.
Yeah.
So, it boomeranged.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
We were stuck with the project. We were making heavy losses. That was the first limited company with some of my friends' investment I started. Though we invested about 60%, the rest of that 40% came from my friends. it was losing. This was also at Salem at a different location within 3-4 kilometers. Then, second thing was, this particular milkshake powder was doing better in the summer times, and winter times the sales falls.
Correct.
The milk arrival at the winter is higher. Milk arrival in the summer is
low.
So we have to dispose of the excess.
Wow.
We were in some problem. Then we decided, we met some people, friends and other people. Then we got into milk. We were forced because probably the failed venture, we have to come out of it, means the milk was the only option. 95, July 10th, we introduced.
The reason I brought up Arvind is a farmer, milk farmer, is set in his or her ways, right? And how do you convince someone like that to work with someone? How did you execute that? Or how were those conversations?
Governments have got their own attractions. People are blind to go with the governments. This is one set of people. The other set of people also are there who wants a better reaction from somebody for their representation and all that. At that time when we launched, Arvind was almost delaying the payment for farmers by about 3 months to 2 months. But still, there were loyal farmers who felt that they are the only alternative. Some guy may come today, he may buy milk, he may not pay for 15 days, he will run away. The government, with the government, the money is always going to come someday. Then we came into milk procurement. And we had tough times in milk procurement. And we gave a stability of making payment every 10th day. We are doing it from the year 1995 till this date, 28 years. And we have given that type of stability, which improved our competitors also to pay in time.
You brought a change in the industry in some sense because you forced that.
They were forced.
Yeah.
Second thing on marketing, on those days, if somebody wants 100 liters of milk, he requires a minister's recommendation or something to get that supply of 100 liters for a marriage party. So that was the situation in Chennai.
Okay.
And it was a monopoly.
Okay.
Though the industry was said to be liberalized, it was not liberalized.
Okay.
They had an order called MMP order. The peculiar thing is, Delhi Animal Husbandry will forward a letter on our application to the local state saying so-and-so has applied for doing so much of milk and do you have surplus? Will you please give us NOC for giving license? Our friends will say there is no milk availability, surplus is not there. So it has to be rejected. It will be rejected. Then we have to make an appeal to the Joint Secretary. Joint Secretary will ask for a hearing.
Wow.
Present IAS will go there. They will be batch meets. They will just talk over a cup of coffee and then say that this is not worth giving, and he will also say no. Somehow, Secretary was convinced that it is time to liberalize and probably gave the permission.
Fantastic. No, it always takes one or two minds to push that development.
Finally, probably we got through, and then we started. Once when we came into market, two things happened. Everybody who was licensed on those days, the local cooperative was marketing toned milk. Toned milk is 3% fat and 8.5% ethanol.
Yeah.
They were all trying to duplicate.
Understood.
The problem of this particular duplication was they themselves were not making money. When there is a loss-making company as a monopoly, you go with a similar product.
They pick the wrong role models. That was a benchmark.
And once when we started milk, our people were saying that we should also make toned milk.
Yeah.
But we should price it 50 paise less than the local cooperative. If we price it 50 paise less than the cooperative and give the toned milk, that is the most fastest way to go to bankruptcy. I said, this is not the business model we can look at.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we can close the milkshake factory and write off.
Fair enough.
It is not worth
playing
doing
this game.
8 annas less and going in a market share. They are not going to revise the prices, whatever the losses they are making. Forget it. We will go for standardized milk, which is 4.5% and 8.5%. You market it as a USP and charge 2 rupees more. They were charging 7 rupees. I was asking them to charge 9 rupees.
That's a lot in those days, yeah.
All the production guy, we used to have a good meetings on those days.
Yeah.
Production guy, marketing guy, procurement guy, all the people were.
Yeah.
My next deputy was my classmate, Mr. Dhanrajan. All the people were of the uniform opinion, this will not work. They were saying that you are asking for the moon. This is not going to be done. And this 9 rupees will not work out. And we have to market it at 50 paise less, we said. Now at least we'll market it the same price. No asking for an extra price.
Yeah.
So the discussion went on for about 3 hours. I used to go to Salem once in a week
Hmm.
for 2 days.
Hmm.
I was supposed to return back. The discussion started by 6:30. Went on till 9:30. I had a train to catch by 10:25. Then I said by 9:30, I have heard you enough. I am vetoing it. So we are going to go with standardized milk, 4.5. And as you people are scared, you market 4.5% at 7 rupees for 3 months. Then you will take it to 8, 3 months later. After 3 months, you will take it to 9. Though higher inputs, more losses, I am willing to take it for 3 months. And we will give a better product and get into market, impress the people, gradually increase them.
Risky bet, but
We have anyway failed in milkshake. So this is the way we came away from the run-of-the-mill competition.
Understood.
Then the run-of-the-mill competition started copying us as market leaders later. We are also like Arogya, but the initial break we gave, our people were not confident.
Yeah.
The marketing guys and other people, they felt that I am pushing them.
Yeah.
It may not work. But they were going and working, but the heart and soul was not there.
Okay.
That was my feeling. So I wanted to give them a little better confidence. I sent a mail to Mr. Allrice, who wrote the book Marketing Warfare.
Yeah.
So I wrote to him saying that probably I want a consultancy from you. For a bloody losing company, I wanted a consultancy from him. I said, will you be in a position to come to India and offer consultancy?
Yeah.
I didn't get any reply.
Okay.
Second mail I sent. Again, he didn't reply. The third one, anyway, I was going to US for some work.
Okay.
The third mail, Arun Ice Cream was doing well. Arun Ice Cream has already crossed the break-even and it was paying. Then I sent a mail saying that I am planning to be in US. His place was Atlanta. I prefer to meet you in Atlanta in case if you find some time. Then within 3 hours, I got a reply. I gave her a mail in the late evening and the guy replied in the morning first time.
Yeah.
Said, you are most welcome and probably I can book the room here. And you, from the airport, you can come to this room and I will come and pick you up and all that. Then we met.
Nice.
Then he said, Chandramogan, I saw both your mails. I felt an Indian entrepreneur may not be willing to pay my fee.
Okay.
So hence, I was reluctant to reply. He thought that it's a junk mail and probably this happened in 97.
97.
When we were already marketing 4.5% fat milk at some places. Then I asked him probably, what is that you demand as a fees? He said 30,000 US per day.
Oh, wow. 30,000 US per day.
And for him and his daughter Lara to come all the way here. Lara has also written a forward in our book.
Yes, I saw that, yeah.
Lara and himself to come in business class and stay here in the home. I also tied up with two of my friends here. One is Reynolds Pen at that time and the Shriram Chits.
Okay.
Both are good friends.
Yeah.
I negotiated with him saying, you want to charge 30,000. You want to travel one day to India and one day back. And one day you are going to be there. I'll give you 3 days assignment. 3 different companies. 60,000 US for 3 days.
Yeah.
Stay is given, room is given. Everything we will provide. So we shared the expenses as one third, and 20,000 US plus the hotel and other things. One day he took the session for our salespeople, marketing people, our senior people and all that. He was convinced.
Yeah.
Don't get into toned milk of the competition.
Yeah.
And the stand what you have taken is the right one. So it required an American to come and endorse me. At that time, the 20,000 US dollars, the exchange rate was not 81. So we spent about 13.5 lakhs on those days, including the flight ticket, 1/3 of our share and all that.
Okay.
He took a one-day session. Our people put all the apprehension. Finally, he said, don't try to say you are giving standardized milk versus toned milk. People don't understand what is toned milk, first of all.
Correct.
It's a technical jargon.
That's right.
You are playing. The mind has got a little space. You should simplify it. What is that standardized milk you are trying to say? We said 4.5% fat. That is 3% fat. That's more than enough. He said 4.5. He put it in the board. He made a round. He said, market it as 4.5% milk. That's it.
That's all that he had to do. So that's sometimes the genius of marketing, don't you think, sir?
This simply gets registered. See, he says, Mind is a crowded place.
Yeah.
There are too many communications, too many brands they have to remember. Unless you give some specifics, they will not remember. So don't say standardized milk, don't say tone milk. You say 4.5% milk. We went for 4.5% milk. We put a teaser, we supported with advertisements and all that. Finally, it worked well. My JMD was just very apprehensive on the day of the meeting. He said, "You brought this man all the way from US, paying 13.5 lakhs. He has put 4.5 and put around. I could have done it myself." I said, "You should have done it much before him. And also, you should have a logic to convince our people. You didn't have a logic. You are arguing against me. Now you are saying that this man is charging." Team was convinced. This conviction came because a rank outsider is evaluating it. And he's a management guru. And he's also from US, gives a credibility.
No, it's a great lesson in organization building. Sometimes you need that external validation. We've seen this now as we completed a decade a few years ago. We also struggling to get everybody to understand what we were saying to each other, because we said if you're building for the next few decades, we need a lot of structure in the way we push ahead. And finally, we had to bring equivalent of an organizational coach, then put in leadership coaches. But as you rightly said, it is to validate these fears and concerns and prepare everybody on a sort of common mission. And as much as a founder, you feel like, I think founders do get taken a little for granted, don't you think so?
I know they are accepting to do the job, what I am saying. But I was not convinced whether they were fully convinced to do the job. Once when they don't have a conviction, the delivery is going to be not to the optimum.
Absolutely.
So now they were fully bought out.
I'm going to weave in a small personal anecdote and have you ask a couple of questions on Arun Ice Cream. And I know I've mentioned this to you before the podcast started, but love relationship with Arun Ice Cream goes into the 80s. We grew up in Chennai, me and my brother. And my brother actually used to run into your son, the current CEO, cycling down the road where we both stayed. So I think our paths overlapped. Of course, I did not know you at that point. And we were huge fans. And you talked about how you used a very unique strategy to go and win markets that your competition didn't know existed. And then you came to Chennai, and all I can remember is downing hundreds of chocobars and casatas, which were my favorite when I grew up. Also, very unique marketing plays. The one I remember distinctly, as I saw it in the book, rewind it to that day when I went to that Egmore place and ate all-you-can-eat ice cream.
Gildas service in 1987.
So I can't imagine how much I ate, but it was like all-you-can-eat for what, 30 rupees, sir? Something of that?
8 rupees.
8 rupees, sorry, even worse. Yeah. So 30, I'm calibrating to current prices. And, you did these unique things. So two things. One, how did you win Chennai? Is it simply quality, price, these marketing genius? And dozens of brands have come after that. So why do people go back to Arun? I know Ibeco started to cater to the premium segment. Just maybe some gems from your flagship. Arun is the heart of the company, I feel sometimes, at least as I know it.
See, Arun Ice Cream, once when we were trying to build up in the city, after winning the outstation, more than the advertisement, the ice cream mela, what we have conducted was unique. It was covered by all newspapers and magazines. So it gives a wide publicity and word of mouth. Both are free compared to advertisement. And we built a brand over it.
And basically, how come that works for 1 year at a time, right? Do you think you've always won via marketing or product? And what has happened to other brands which have tried to challenge?
This is almost like breaking the ice in the initial stage.
That's correct.
And making the brand known. Then probably you support it with advertisements and other things, and you start going with the market.
In this 50-year journey now, is it the 50th year or
53rd year?
53rd. You've worked with building multiple businesses. And did you see that as and I'm moving now gently into the compounding journey, right? We went from the story of how ice creams moved to milk. It was a necessity play at that juncture. And I know you know these numbers. I think the one time we have met and somebody introduced us, it was a 10-minute conversation, but you spoke about this 1 crore, 10 crore, 100 crore, 1,000 crore sales of the company. I would love for you to recount that for the audiences. So how long did it take to get to 1, 10, the logarithmic expansion? And that in some sense defines the power of compounding, right? So if you can replay that for the audiences, that would be great, sir.
See, we started in 1970.
Yeah.
First 8-10 years has been a struggling period. We didn't move anywhere.
Hmm.
First year we made a turnover of 1,15,000 for the whole year.
Hmm.
And maybe we did 4.25 lakhs 10 years later in
Oh, wow.
1980,
Hmm. So
81.
just grew 4 times in 10 years.
But it is mostly through inflation. So this has not helped us much of a... Today, if you recall,
Hmm.
that first 10 years sales, we can do it under 30 minutes.
Wow.
First 20 years sales, we can do it under 1 day.
Wow.
30 years, we can do it within a month.
Amazing.
40 years, we can do it under a year. It has been a gradual pace.
Yeah.
So it's a journey of endurance and patience, nothing else. But probably over a period, gradually things started emerging.
No, fantastic. Fantastic numbers, sir. So the one question in that context I had was, do you see natural market saturations or geographic saturations? So compounding is almost in India, given how tight a market it is. Customers look for, every rupee of value that they can get. You can't, bloat up employee salaries overnight. So when you look at the constraints that India throws at you, there is a natural market saturation that tends to happen, right? And does that prompt you to then say, I need other business models to come and help me on the compounding, other products to help me on the compounding? So did that force the creation of 4 great brands? Or, did that just happen as a natural evolution? And you're very happy with that journey, as you said. You didn't set a goal for yourself as much as, I'll go where the journey takes me.
See, we are one people.
Hmm.
We started as a tiny industry.
Hmm.
Gradually, we went to small,
Hmm.
from small to medium,
Hmm.
medium to big, big to large.
Hmm.
So these 5 different transitions,
Hmm.
where the time I'm saying that probably I was close to getting broke.
Hmm.
See, each transition was a different lesson to us.
Hmm.
What we did at one stage, we have to do completely reverse on the other stage.
That's correct.
Maybe tiny, we were doing everything myself.
Hmm.
And when it came to small, we had a very small team,
Hmm.
which was under instruction, they were doing the job.
Correct.
We didn't have a thinking staff.
Hmm.
So once when you start going to medium,
Hmm.
you require subordinates to do the job. It requires colleagues to do the job.
Yes.
They have to think themselves.
Yes.
So every stage, my thinking process has to change.
Of course.
When it comes to large,
Hmm.
mostly I am not doing any work. I am only into strategy and planning and finance.
Yes.
But rest of the people are performing on the field.
Of course.
So I can't lead from the front. I have to go to the back seat.
Hmm.
Allow the other people to perform.
Hmm.
But these people have to think and work.
Hmm.
These colleagues
Hmm.
are much different from the people whom I hired on the day one.
Hmm.
Day one, I required people who carry out my instructions.
Of course.
Everywhere, things are changing. I had one accountant who was writing the book.
Yes.
Today, we call it as a CFO,
Correct.
an accounts manager, probably an internal audit
Yes.
chief, cost accountant, company secretary. See, one job,
Yeah.
one simple thing what we are doing, we are having too many people. You take marketing, branding is separate, marketing is separate, selling is different. See, different selling of different brands. So all these things over a period in my lifetime, I have to see. I have to get educated to adapt to the new condition.
No, we keep saying that, sir. I think the biggest role for a founder CEO is that they actually don't know the job that awaits them 5 years, 10 years in advance. You almost have to go and learn how to become that person you will be in 5, 10 years. And the best CEOs, founder CEOs we've seen evolve over like a decade or two are folks who are incredible learners themselves. You have to have a lot of humility to know that you have to be a very different type of leader at, I think, 5, 10,000 crores as you was when you were at 50 to 100 crores. Would you broadly agree with my assessments of that?
No, mostly I'll say the refusal to learn
Yeah.
gets in at some time.
Hmm.
People start working for basics
Hmm.
and then for comforts.
Hmm.
Then the ego comes in. People recognize you wherever you go
Yeah.
and all that. A lot of people get settled at ego gratification. Beyond that point,
Yeah.
they are just in the limelight and probably they feel that the journey is already over. So
Understood.
these type of attitude, once when it comes in,
Yeah.
this can also be
Yeah.
the entrepreneur is the asset at the beginning, and he will become the biggest liability at a later date once when he becomes complacent or arrogant.
Hmm.
Complacency and arrogance can creep in
Hmm.
with the personal success. You have to be careful not to get complacent, not to get arrogant. So these two things are the real destroyer of any future journey.
No, well said, sir. I think there's a philosophical tone to your answer, which I think I'm hoping a lot of young entrepreneurs learn from. That's who I'm doing this podcast for. So I hope they take that lesson. There's this corollary to what you just said, which is I know you built this business in an era where private capital did not exist. So we'll come to the public part of the journey, but it forced you to go public. You also didn't have the luxury of ever losing money in any given year. That is what you call as near bankruptcy in your case. But as you grow to this middle, large, really where you're at today, how difficult or easy is it? Because I want more founders to think in that fashion. Can they build lasting organizations rather than simply be in the venture race for the first 5-8 years? So at some point, even when you're playing with the venture capital money, which comes fast and quick and expects you to grow unreasonably, if you don't turn into a profitable cash flow business, your fate is at the mercy of either you get acquired by somebody who wants you as an asset, or eventually you might flame out, right? And this is a very trying time for entrepreneurs. So how do you build a culture of profitability / frugality, this balance of growth versus profitability, and how do you sustain it when you have to get top talent to come and run the company, which is very different from where the company talent base was, say, 20 years ago?
See, in the year 1996, we went public.
Yeah.
We tried to raise 8 crores. We barely did it. There were comments in the newspaper, very negative comments were there. They said, empty cone for the investors, cream for the promoters. See, all fancy slogans. They felt they are very creative in writing slogans, and all this nonsense we saw. I think what we did was, fortunately or unfortunately, no PE invested in our first venture. It was all distributed to public. We had long-term investors. I'm really scared of getting PE money. They come with an agenda of 5 years or 10 years. They wanted to get out. At the time of entry, they want to decide the exit.
That's correct.
Once when they do it, in the 5 years, they try to pressurize the company.
Yeah.
And they say, you give a statement like this. In 3 years, I will do that. I will go to moon and I will go to Mars. So that type of statements. And these statements are going to hound the entrepreneur very difficult to chase. Say in 5 years, I will do so much of turnover. And the 5 years, COVID may come. Economical recession may come. Too many things may happen.
Yeah, not
but still that 5 years, answerability stays.
That's right.
So we had the fortune of not committing towards the future. If somebody is going to ask me, we have our inner plan, details and all that. If they say that in 5 years, will you do so much? I always say I am no Nostradamus to predict the future. The reason is, if you are committing for the future, for a third party, or to the press, or to the open community, what happens is then you start chasing vanity and the business goes out of sanity. You start compromising because you said that you will do so much of turnover and you try to do all juggernauts to do that. And the PE would have pressurized and you would have walked out. So I don't want to get into the trap. I don't give any futuristic projection to the market saying I'm going to do this, that and all that.
Understood.
We have in heart what we want to do and we want to do it without pressures. If there is going to be COVID or anything, we would like to take the shock as much as possible. We'll be far more efficient than our competitor to come out of it. That is the only thing we can do.
Correct.
And we don't want to commit to anybody that we are going to do that. Maybe our past record can just speak to them. If they are happy, let them be.
That's right. Now you've established that over 27 years. So basically they've seen you deliver year after year after year. And eventually you have to get to that point where investors trust you.
Talking about compounding.
Yeah.
The guy who invested 45 rupees with me in 1996 for a 10 rupee share.
Hmm.
Today, he has got 28 shares of 1 rupee,
Wow.
with bonus and all that.
Hmm.
The amount of 45 what he has invested today is about 32,648
Amazing. Yeah.
on today's market price.
Hmm.
And we have compounded 27.63% over the period of 96 to 27 years.
2023. Yeah.
20
Yeah.
years.
27 years. Sir.
27 years. We have compounded it at a speed of 27.63.
Insane compound.
This is wealth part of it.
Yeah.
For the same 45 rupees, we are giving a dividend of 165 rupees per year.
Oh.
The last 4-5 years.
Hmm.
28 shares are getting, that is coming to 165. That is a bonus.
Bonus over and up.
So this is
the power of
his
true
capital.
Yeah.
Now, I started with 13,000. Whatever Forbes says, if it is true, market capitalization that they call it.
Yeah.
This 13,000 on the present market cap, we have compounded by 36.52%.
Over 53 years. Yeah.
Over 53 years. I checked up at Warren Buffett record. For 55 years, if you have invested 10,000 US, it is today worth about 280 million US.
Yeah.
At 20% CAGR. But the gentleman has invested into different companies, and see, there is an average for him. There may be a company which is given much better return.
Yeah.
Some other company would have given lesser return.
Yeah.
And he has got a basket of products.
Yeah.
I have only one product, one company. I stay with it, and I don't have any basket. I have no regrets.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's a iconic company now, sir. I mean, it gives us pride to say that a company like this was built out of Chennai, and thank you for that. I still consider it hometown. Thanks for giving those numbers. I wouldn't have been able to do the math. This is fantastic for the audience too. Yeah. On other compounding drivers, I know we didn't answer that question fully. How important are people, culture, technology, and specifically in tech? We're a big beneficiary. Stellap's, one of our companies, I think when they were looking around, speaking to a private dairy where they thought they'll get a break, I think Hatson was the first company that gave a break. And if you look at your biography as well, there's a history of you making very bold technology bets ahead of everyone. So people might not see a staid direct-to-consumer brands company doing milk and yogurt and ice creams as technology, but I tend to see that the best performers in this are great adopters of technology early. So that's our angle because we're also a tech investor. But broadly, if you look at the drivers of compounding, do you have a sequence or do you have a group of value drivers that actually allowed for this crazy growth? This, as you said, I do 40 years worth of revenue in like 1 year. How does that happen? Like, what is the magic of that? What is the magic formula?
We were comparatively frugal in personal. We were putting all money back into only one company. I stayed in rented house from 1970 to 30 years. So I moved to my own house only in 2000, after 30 years. This office, last year we moved. Till such time we were in rented office. So all the 52 years we were in rented office, and this is the first time we are moving to our own office. But our factories are heavily modern. We invest into productive assets, and non-productive assets we try to avoid.
Understood.
House, I consider it as a non-productive. Office, I consider it as a non-productive.
Yeah.
But today, government is taxing rent at 18%. That is making it prohibitively high.
Yeah.
I felt that I can go for a new office, pay the bank interest, where I don't have to pay GST. The milk doesn't have the facility to absorb the GST. So we decided to go with it. And again, probably we pioneered too many things. Two of the guys came from Boston.
Okay.
Primithin Powers. Those people, they came to India and they said, your power supplies are frequently disrupted. We can cool the milk with a solar system.
Okay.
Install.
Okay.
But they don't have money. The guy got an award from MIT for developing new products and all that. And they approached me. They said, they don't have the seed capital. Can you help us? We will develop a system and come and install. They wanted only $5,000 we gave. The guys came and installed. It worked. But the problem was the space what they were asking. It's not possible to be provided everywhere.
Hmm.
I said, this will not work.
Hmm.
Again, in the winter,
Hmm.
when the sunlight is not there, we have to go back to
That's right.
generators. This will not work. Then the guys went back.
Hmm.
They came with the technology of thermal battery.
Hmm.
Today, we have about 1,500 machines doing the chilling. It will not be necessary that the power is a must at the time of coming of the milk.
Hmm.
So this will chill a liquid. That liquid will take care of chilling of the milk. And they developed the technology. They put up a factory in Pune. Even
Okay.
today, we are the largest buyers.
So beyond technology, any other levers that have allowed you to grow to the
See,
scale?
the technology in the sense, probably, if you take our ice cream factory,
Yeah.
this is a world-class factory.
Hmm.
Technology-wise, today, we are updated with any technology available in the world.
Understood.
The best of the machineries and all that.
Yeah.
We are the first people to connect 4 lakh farmers. Digital payment. We are the first people to do it in the entire country. No cooperative has done it. No private dairy has done it. The reason why we did was we were literally handing over cash. It was calling for too many people. And the cash that was given was also misused by the
Correct.
farmer's wife is managing the family. The farmer husband will collect the money. He will go to taskmaster, spend the money and go with the balance.
Yeah.
So things were not running well.
Yeah.
And the loan sharks used to lend the money.
Understood.
Loan sharks used to charge 6% interest. And the banks considered them as not worthy customers. Most of the farmers, they used to ask for a loan waiver.
Yeah.
So at this juncture, we brought the farmers into bank records. That completely changed. The farmers were initially against.
Yeah.
They said, you have been giving cash and we will not take check and all that. We said, we did it at the peak of the flush where they can't run away to anybody. We said, this will work good for you.
Yeah.
And then we did it.
Yeah.
2 things happened.
Yeah.
Today, he is a worthy customer of a bank.
That's right.
Earlier, if he goes to the bank manager, he will not allow him to meet him. Today, the bank manager is at his door to service. You want a education loan, you want an animal loan, he will give it.
Correct.
Today, he is a worthy customer. Today, if I am going to same farmer saying, I will revert back to the old system of paying cash, he will again revolt.
Yes.
The thing is, we did it much before liberalization. We were already digitalized by 2015.
Oh, fantastic. I thought it was more a UPI initiative.
Much before that. Actually, Harish Damodar was introduced at that time.
Okay.
He came to know about us and he made a phone call.
Okay.
He said, how you people are managing payments. It is giving sleepless night to all the people. People are standing on queue. I said, probably my farmer and myself are sleeping well. No issue.
So, personal question, sir. So, it's kept you going for 50 plus years. Have you ever felt like, now it's time to sort of fully retire? And now do you feel like the company is in hands where it can build, as you said, for eternity?
Day to day, I am not running. Day to day, Satyan is running. I am not into day to day and I don't get involved. But if there is something exciting, something new, where probably some new technology is coming, say if somebody is talking about wave energy, I prefer to go and see where the wave energy is.
Understood.
So those things I do.
Your scientific
on the marketing
temper.
side or probably on the finance side.
Understood. Last question before I get to a set of fun rapid fire questions. I mean, you keep reading the papers now, you hear stories of how we as venture capitalists are probably building a very different type of entrepreneur, corrupting the mind with too much capital. Without necessarily comparing and critiquing, what would your advice be for young entrepreneurs starting today? Very different environment, a lot of private money, and a lot of pressure also to deliver quicker outcomes. How do you resist that? How do you build?
Today, probably most of the entrepreneurs are coming with a very good educational background.
That's correct.
Again, when they start a company, they also decide to have exit date. Maybe it's new to me.
Yeah.
I am not used to that.
Yeah.
I don't believe that probably exiting is worth.
Yeah.
My pleasure is in doing the job.
Yeah.
By getting the money,
Yeah.
what I will do with the money, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a different mindset.
Understood.
The question, I'm not competent to answer. I can say my mindset is different.
No, it's a great answer, sir. So thanks again. It's been a lovely hour or so. Before we wrap, I thought we'll just ask you some fun questions. One word, one phrase, one sentence, whatever suits your mood today. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Cassata.
Okay, that makes two of us. I know. I feel like for memory's sake, I need to go and have one of those today. If not in the dairy business, where would you have been? I mean, do you ever think about another business that
I would have retired in US, working for DuPont or some other company.
you've been in the business for more than 40 years? What are the top 3 words of caution you'll give to young entrepreneurs?
Frugality. If you are going to just go for a long run,
Yes, you need that.
and once when a failure comes, facing it with confidence, not getting biased by people around. They will always put negative sentiments that this will not work, that will not work, and all that. So believe in yourself better than believing in others.
And one piece of tech now that has consumed you that you think you can't live without.
I don't use technology. The regular mails and other things,
Yeah.
I'm not a technology freak.
In this journey, when you look at these 53 years, agility versus endurance, what do you think has served you better?
Endurance. In the long run, endurance.
So marathon versus sprints. And so once again, sir, been a pleasure. Thank you for the time today. And it was great capturing the Hatson journey. As I said, it has a lot of personal connections. So I was very moved by the fact that you agreed to do this for us today. We've had some fantastic guests on the show, and I think this will add to a different flavor of not ice cream, but learning for the young founders who are listening in. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you.